in other news, Lula, I was talking with my mom the other day, right? And my little brother, he was running around watching TV.
TV's fun. I like TV.
Yeah, something we all do, in our free time, just watch TV.
Yeah, whenever I have free time, I either go on my phone or just chill watching Netflix.
Of course, how it is.
Netflix and
And me and my mom were talking about how much the television had changed from my day to her day. Like, the quality, of course, used to be all fuzzy and everything. And the size, of course.
Oh, yeah.
They're massive now.
We used to have little box TVs, or like chunky sides.
Of course.
The computer monitors were funny. Those things were huge.
Of course. And, how you got to watch what was on. And now
there wasn't any way to like record television. You couldn't like
rewatch
shows. You had to be in front of the television when they turned on, which is a little inconvenient, but I see why they would do that.
Why kids woke up at 7 every morning.
Or 5 in the morning if you wanted to watch Lazy Town like I did.
Yeah.
And people still do that though. Cable TV, there's the DVR, but
and of course,
it's still kind of like gotta be here when I want to be here, like
right,
when I want to see the show.
Even with cable TV, you can still, record things and rewatch them over and as many times as you want. But
yeah,
we're gonna do that. And of course, now we have all these streaming apps like YouTube, Hulu, Netflix, Disney Plus, Paramount Plus,
which they all cost money, so it's not really free streaming. But there are a lot of phone companies that have deals where it's like if you have us for like new customers get deals on new streaming devices.
Of course. And it was all really nice. It was just a nice talk that
old
we had.
TVs had to have like the bunny ear wires where you had to like kind of like that.
Yeah, like
kind of had to split it where it's, and then if they were really bad, you had to put tinfoil on top.
I remember those days.
Do you?
Okay. On the topic of the television, right? The older TVs, because back in the day, long time ago, we didn't have color TVs. It was all black and white,
Yeah. Which I've actually watched a few of those. My grandpa used to put on black and white TV shows like I Love Lucy and I don't remember the other one, but I do remember there's a Christmas movie that we watch. It's this one. It's that one. And yeah, so they were black and white, but then color TV when they came back to when they got color TVs, everything was really fuzzy.
And it still, of course, wasn't like we have today. Then
and all the microphones sounded kind of muted. It was kind of like I was talking like this through a microphone.
And which the color television back then was nothing like the color television now. I mean, the television has gone through many different stages. I mean, the first prototype was presented in 1925 by Philo Farnsworth. He also, fun little fact about him, presented the finishing product of the black and white television.
What year was that?
I believe 1927.
Oh, so it only took him about 2 years to actually get his TV working. That's smart innovation.
Now, there were 3 inventors. Well, there were way more than 3, but 3 that we're focusing on, main inventors that we had for the television were
people who kind of kickstarted the whole thing.
For sure, brought it all together,
Yeah.
Philo Farnsworth, of course, Charles Jenkins,
who was another American inventor,
and John Baird, who was Scottish.
Yeah.
And he helped quite a lot.
Yeah.
So
they all kind of pushed the television forward. They kind of brought the invention out into the open, being like, hey, wouldn't it be cool to watch the radio?
Exactly, which, of course, is, the TV was made for recreational purposes and entertainment, for you to do what you can when you want.
Yeah.
Not necessarily when you want, but...
And I think the reason people made the TV was because people used to read books on the radio and add sound effects. And then I think somebody said, what if we put people into this and put it on a screen?
Of course, and now it's just,
and now it's movies. And people still do that, where they write books and say, hey, this is a dang good book. Let's make it into a movie. See if people like it.
Of course.
Although some hardcore fans of the book will say the book is 10 times better than the movie. But that's also because you can't fit all of the details into a movie.
100%.
Then it'd be like a 5-hour-long movie.
And the TV was also created for, to get news across, because newsboys, had to get up early and everything, and just the process for making newspapers took forever.
One backwards letter and you had to do the whole thing over.
Of course. And also for, finding out what's happening in other places, in case you're bored of finding out what's happening in the U.S. with the news, we've got...
Which is kind of hard, considering that there's a lot of crazy things happening at the time. Like,
of course.
there were a couple of illegal immigrants who robbed a bank, I believe it was, and they robbed the bank and attempted murder. These are Bartolomeo, I think is how you pronounce his name, Vanzetti, and Nicola Sacco. They were crazy, honestly.
Sure.
During, also at the same time, happened the Mississippi flood, which the Mississippi flooded, and the U.S. Food and Drug Administration also was invented around that time too. They also worked on insecticides, trying to see how badly they would affect the crops. But onto our main inventors. This is Philo Farnsworth. He was born in 1906, and he was the oldest of 6 children. Lincoln, Agnes, Carl, Laura, Ronald, and then himself. His mother's name was Serena Amanda Bastian, and his father was Louis Edwin Farnsworth. And their whole family lived in a log cabin. Like, all of them had to stuff themselves. I think it was like a one-room type of thing.
Which is crazy. 8 people. I live in a townhouse currently. I can't imagine being in an apartment with just 6 members of my family.
I've got a pretty small house, but dang, a one-room log cabin, I wouldn't be able to do it. I already have to share a room with my sister. Dang, that is not fun. But Philo Farnsworth actually had a basic public education. He got accepted into the U.S. Naval Academy for college, though, when he was old enough.
For college.
And he actually held over 300 patents in his lifetime. Most of them were for the television and radio. Unfortunately, he passed away in 1971. Our second inventor was technical difficulties.
So, another fact that I'd like to bring up is the color television. We never said much about that. This is what the first color television was.
Yes,
like.
it was kind of boxy.
Incredibly boxy, and made in 1939, which is when the first prototype was presented. And about 15 years later, because obviously color would be a lot more difficult than black and white.
Yes, you had to put film over film and had to color instant film, and it was a process, man.
And the first working color TV system was actually brought out 15 years later.
Yeah, and about, I believe it was 1945, or no, 54. Sorry, I'm not good with dates.
Our second inventor, though, back on the topic, was Charles Jenkins. He was our second American inventor. He was born in 1867.
This is him right here.
He was born in Dayton, Ohio. However, from ages 2 to 18, he lived on a farm just outside Fountain City, Indiana, which is beautiful in the summer.
Absolutely beautiful.
Of course.
It's very shiny, I want to say.
It gives off that vibe,
Yeah. It's like one of those places you just go to, like, just chillax.
Enjoy yourself.
Wow, okay.
When he was younger, he tinkered with machinery so that way he could fix broken farm equipment. He was an only child, so I bet that helped his parents out quite a lot.
Yeah. His parents were Amasa and Mary Ann, which are very beautiful names, both
Wonderful names. And he went to Bliss Electrical College so he could get his doctorate of divinity. He passed away in 1934.
Unfortunately. These men live short lives.
Yes, they did.
Around 60, 50 years old.
That's how these worked.
That's how, yeah. That's
Not for
because
them.
of modern medicine, which is a different topic that we will cover later. In 1888, John Baird was born in Helensburgh, Dunbarton, Scotland. He stayed in Scotland for most of his life and then moved to the U.S. to help, push forward
The
'cause
television.
he worked on it too. He was the youngest of 4 children, Annie, James, Jean, and then himself.
Himself being.
And yes, lovely. His parents were John and Jessie Morrison Inglis, and his father was actually a reverend for, I don't remember what church it was, but he was a reverend.
Incredible.
In his teenage years, he conducted electronical experiments and just, tinkered around and invented,
Of course.
like you do. And when he was old enough, he went to Larchfield Academy for primary school, and his alma mater, which is technically college, was Royal Technical College at University of Glasgow, which is now the University of Strathclyde. John Baird passed away in 1946.
What an amazing man. I cannot believe he went to the University of Strathclyde.
I know. Actually, I can't believe they changed the name. I think Glasgow is very much perfect.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Yes. I think we already ran over most of the events that happened. Mississippi flood. I think we already covered that.
Yep. We already
It flooded.
flooded.
And it was it was quite the devastation. It's a pretty big river.
Oh, for sure.
Reaches from up north down to middle. I want to say mid-east.
I think that sounds about right. However, we do have other things to discuss on the show tonight.
As radio, and we're going to be talking more about the radio and more about our, just cell phones and electronics and computers.
How things have changed,
Yeah, the evolution of these devices that we don't even think about now. Like, if I have a question, I just pull my phone out, or I type it on my computer. Right now, we're filming on an iPad.
Exactly. So,
It's quite amazing, honestly.
how things have changed incredibly.
Yeah.
So, we are going to get to that later on. So, I think we're going to have to say goodbye for now. So,
Have a great day.